If we've just got a wild animal, a wild deer that's run out and there's been an accident, in short, no. It is an accident in its truest sense.
All deer should be insured.
Well,
as you know, as bikers, we love blaming any slip-offs on diesel. It's always diesel's fault. Diesel. What is the score if you fall off and you think there is a case for it? I mean, there's no one in front of you. You can smell it. Maybe you can't. There's a dark line. Tell us about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, funny enough, I hit diesel on the way in to this ride.
You?
Yeah, I did, yeah. And I want to say I was very skillful. I wasn't. I've sort of pulled a stupid face and managed to stay upright. But on a serious note, yeah, it's slippery. If you hit it and you come a cropper, you have a claim against the person who's left it there, okay? Which practically is almost impossible to prove because unless you've seen them drop the diesel, from a HGV or whatnot, it's overfilled tank, you're not going to be able to know who left it there. So what I find is, from a biker's perspective, gather as much evidence as you can because you need to prove that you hit that and fell off, and then your claim will proceed against the Motor Insurers Bureau under the Untraced Drivers Agreement because that driver who left it there is untraced. They've left the scene.
Right.
I'll give you a brilliant example of a case I dealt with a few years ago. It was a biker who came around a roundabout, hit diesel, fell off. Now, do your homework because we managed to find a garage, a petrol station that had cameras, and one of those cameras partially covered the roundabout. So I've jumped on the bike, ridden out there, and they've got the footage. And it shows clear as day a skip lorry coming around the bend, dumping a load of something onto the road, which we now know is diesel. And the fourth vehicle that goes over it is a motorcyclist who sadly hits it and falls off.
Right.
So that is not a case against the MIB. We could bring that against the driver because we knew the vehicle they were travelling in and we had evidence of them dumping it on the road.
So did you get the registration number on that video?
Well, we did, a partial registration, but what actually worked quite nicely there, it had very distinctive markings on the side of the vehicle, and we realised that an entire fleet of similar vehicles had a business up the road, so we could trace it that way.
Okay.
So do your homework. I mean, without knowing that footage was there, you wouldn't have been able to obtain it.
Right.
Within 28 days, you wouldn't have then been able to prove the claim against that company.
So you've got to get out there and do some digging effectively.
You do, absolutely. Okay. Now, I mean, in that particular case, the client was in no fit state, so he's sadly in a hospital bed, but he's alerted me to it, and I've been able to jump on the bike, go and get it myself.
Gotcha, okay. Well, so while we're talking about this, what about gravel? There are certain times of the year when they love to resurface the roads, but they're putting road signs out.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of warning, but in the countryside, it's different to in the city. What about where the road is broken up when you've just come out of the winter? Let's stick to road surface debris, so gravel of either over chippings or where it's broken up.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just a question of ringing up the...
It's a claim against the local authority, okay, if they have placed it there. And what I'm getting at there is it the fabric of the highway, okay? Because if it was once...
The actual part of the road?
The actual part of the road. So that might be broken up through bad maintenance and not enough repairs. Equally, and something that I've seen happen more often, is they use this as a type of resurfacing treatment because it's cheap. It's cheaper just to lay the aggregate on top of the road, let traffic bed it down, and you've probably seen it, the signs pop up saying slow, loose gravel, 20 miles per hour. Now, I've seen that more and more because it's a much cheaper way of relaying the road surface. The issue being, it's potentially deadly to us motorcyclists. It's great for a lorry, it's great for a 4x4, it's great for a car, they bed it down. We don't. If we hit any amount of gravel and we lose traction, chances are the bike's going down.
Okay.
So in cases like that, gather evidence, a gravel sample, really useful because you need to be able to...
Of the
actual gravel. Yeah, so enough to fill a pot noodle pot, okay, because what I would do with that...
Do you like pot noodle?
Well, it's an empty pot, so I must. But if you get enough of it, we send it off for analysis, okay? And the geologist that looks at that will then give me a report and will say to me, this is the fabric of the road. This is the aggregate they use to make the road. That's really important in legal terms because that's where the liability rests with the local authority, okay? Under the Highways Act, they've got a duty to maintain the road.
Yeah.
Maintenance would be repairing it, keeping it in good order, maintaining it. And if they've used that and simply put it on top of the road surface and it's dangerous or a danger to a motorcyclist, therein lies the opening for a claim.
So that also, I suppose, proves that it wasn't a lorry carrying gravel that had just built a bit.
Exactly that, because in the lorry example, let's say they've dumped a load of quarry gravel onto the road. The local authority's got no obligation there. It's the wrongdoer, it's the person that put it on the road.
Okay.
So again, I'm not an expert in gravel, so I send it off to an expert who can tell me where is it from, what is it.
Okay. I'm going to throw another one at you now. A deer runs out in front of you.
Okay.
And leads you to have an accident.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you can look at there to help, with your bike repairs or if you've hurt yourself? Potentially.
Okay, so I'll give you two examples. If we've just got a wild animal, a wild deer that's run out and there's been an accident,
yeah.
In short, no. It is an accident in its
All
truest
deer
sense.
Should be insured.
Well, if I give you the other example of a stately home, okay?
Right.
So there is a stately home, they keep deer within the grounds,
yeah.
And they haven't maintained the fences or something similar, the deer have escaped. Now, that might open up a liability for the homeowner because if they're going to keep livestock, I mean, a better example might be a farm. You drive past a farm or ride past a farm and, a horse escapes. There's been a collision. Could be a pig, could be cattle, could be anything. They have a duty to make sure that they keep those animals penned in and they're not going to create a danger to other road users. So then you would have a claim against that particular owner or keeper of the livestock. Evidence is key, absolutely key. So I'm dealing with a case at the moment where a sheep's run out in front of a biker, sadly. Sheep's been killed in the collision, but they've got an ear tag. So by recording that information, you can consult a database, you can find out who the keeper is, where it's been registered, who has responsibility for it ultimately.
Okay. But as far as wild deer?
No, I'm afraid.
Pick yourself up.
Pick yourself up, dust yourself on and carry on.
Shove it on the back and have some veal.
Yeah, potentially. If that's what you're into, absolutely.
Thanks.